Hey, this is Mark Shepard, and part of what I want to be able to share with people who may have been struggling with anxiety, or who, how do I say this? There are no dumb anxiety sufferers. You know what I mean? People that really suffer from anxiety tend to be highly creative, highly imaginative, highly intelligent, and they make really powerful pictures in their mind, a lot of times without them even being consciously aware of it. And those pictures lead to feelings in their body. Well, kind of the flip side of the coin is that highly sensitive person who may be susceptible to sadness and depression. And I have some stuff up right now, and I wanted to kind of share my process with people so that we can hopefully dispel the myth that anybody has it all together. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times people project out onto me as, you know, their coach or their healer, or the person that they turn to for advice on YouTube or crushanxiety.com or cowabunga.com or Hypnosis Albany or any of these other places. And what they don't realize is that I do all the stuff that I do because I was in such deep pain. I was in such a place of woundedness, you know, and I didn't have a horrible childhood, but I made it horrible, you know, because of my imagination. So it's like, this is a huge gift. It's a gift, and at the same time, it can be a curse. And so today I have some stuff up, and I'm just feeling kind of like a feeling that I often get when I'm doing deep healing work, that something is about to go, you know, something is about to leave, and I kind of liken it to some kind of a creature that is, you know, kind of breaking out of its old skin because it has to grow a new one, and that's got to be freaking painful. You know, if you think of a caterpillar, you know, ready to shed its skin, or a lobster. Unfortunately, these are all kind of bugs, which probably isn't exactly pleasant for some of you, but or a snake, you know, shedding its skin. They're interesting that there are a lot of animals that people with phobias and anxiety are afraid of. Anyway, what is it about change and personal growth and transformation that is so deeply threatening to something in us? And I feel this sadness. I feel this just deep aloneness, and I know it's kind of a temporary thing. And see, that's one key. I know it's temporary. So for a lot of people, they kind of get the sadness feeling, and it comes up, and they kind of present to themselves on their internal mental movie screen that that's the way it's always going to be. Oh, this always happens. And the thing is, it doesn't always happen. We choose to believe that it always happens, and then that creates a whole series of feelings and emotions and biochemistry in our body. So I wanted to see if I could kind of share a little bit of my process right on camera. I've been doing this work since the early 1990s. I studied with a healer, energy healing, a couple different energy healers, you know, and I've worked on my diet, I've worked on my exercise, I've worked on my personal life, I've worked on, you know, my business, all these different areas. I've really worked on my spirituality and relationships and all of this. And I'm not done in any of these areas. It's, for me, that's really the essence of cowabunga. It's the willingness to be vulnerable. I heard, I think it's Brene Brown, talk about vulnerability on NPR, and also she does a TED Talk. And it's like something we are so uncomfortable with in our culture. And for the healer to admit, yes, I'm a wounded healer. For the teacher to admit, you know what, I'm still learning this, and the reason I teach it is so I can learn it. That's deeply vulnerable, because people want somebody who has answers, who has got it all together, but that person doesn't exist. Even Gandhi, who pretty much is a saint in our modern culture, admitted to feelings of anger and frustration and hopelessness at times. But it's the power to move through that. And I wanted to share with you one technique that I use a lot, that I haven't really yet used today, and I'm feeling this feeling, and I haven't used any of my tools. I'm kind of noticing the feeling. I haven't tried to move it or shift it. I'm just allowing it to come up, and I'm kind of looking at it and experiencing what it is and what gift it has for me, you know. And maybe that's a tool. Maybe that's one of the tools, is to allow whatever's up to offer you a gift. But anyway, I wanted to do EFT, emotional freedom technique, or meridian tapping, whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to share that with you. So essentially we have a setup phrase. In the setup phrase, you tap on your karate chop spot and you basically say what it is that's really bothering you. So I would basically say, so even though I'm feeling really sad and feeling like, you know, very alone, and a little bit of sadness and hopelessness is kind of filling me right now, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. And that's really powerful. So even though I'm feeling sad, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. So even though I'm feeling sad, I deeply and completely accept myself. I accept the gift in this, and I accept that I also have the power to release it with love. Just added that, and I will spontaneously add stuff. So this is not carved in stone. All right, so then you do that 3 times, and then tap on the top of your head. Sadness, 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 sadness. And I find sometimes just repeating the problem over and over again makes it begin to disappear. Sadness, 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 sadness. The word begins to be meaningless. Feeling sad, 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 sad. Self-pity, 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 self-pity. Sorry, 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 sorry. And then we want to tap on either side of the bridge of our nose. Sadness, 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 sad, 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 sad. Side of the eye, sadness, 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 and then under the eye, sadness, 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 sadness. My glasses kind of get in the way here a little bit, but I can lift them up. Sadness, 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 sadness. It's so humid, I'm fogging my glasses up. It is a warm day. Under the nose, sadness, 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 sadness. You can even do both fingers under the nose. I tend to do one. Sadness, 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 sadness. And then the dent of your chin right there. Sadness, 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 sadness. And then right where your collarbone begins, there's a little soft spot in the middle, and then either side is your collarbone. Sadness, 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 snadness. What the hell is snadness, right? Right. And then under your arm, sadness, 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 sadness. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just tapping under kind of where the lat muscle is right here. Sadness, 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 sadness. And that's the short form. There's other things you can do, and I may teach those another time, but I don't want to take too long. So I will do that with the negative feelings, and I'll run through that 2, 3, 4 times. And then kind of once I feel that there's like a little release, and usually there's kind of a really pleasant kind of neutral feeling that kind of begins to flow in. Once I do that, then I'll begin to tap into something powerful, and I'll put it in a why or a how question. So even though, or I'll put the problem in the past tense. So even though I was feeling sad, why do I deeply and completely accept myself? You know, so the why question, again, this is kind of my contribution to EFT or tapping, is when we ask a why or how question, your unconscious mind automatically begins to build an evidence procedure to support it. So even though I was feeling sad a minute ago, now I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. So even though I was feeling sad, why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why do I deeply and completely accept myself? And sometimes I'll kind of begin to minimize the problem, but only after I've already tapped the crap out of it, you know, because the thing I love about EFT is that you don't have to pretend everything's nicey-nicey. You can kind of face the problem head on. So I'll go through around with the positives. Okay, so you'll do this 3 times. So even though I was feeling sad, why do I deeply and completely accept myself? Even though I was feeling sad, and I may feel sad again in the future because I'm a human being, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. So even though I was feeling sad, why do I deeply and completely accept myself? And why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? All right, and then I'll just do, why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Or why do I let this go? And the phone is ringing, so we're going to let the phone ring because that might be something really good. It might be my big break, right? It might be someone calling with an opportunity that will absolutely turn my life around in the best possible way. Or it could be just a bill collector, right? It could be just one of those calls that, I'm tapping on I forgot. There is a spot under the nipple, which I don't tend to teach people just because people freak out about the nipple, but I just did it without thinking. So, and you can tap while you're doing, I will often tap while I'm driving, and maybe other drivers think I'm crazy, or maybe they're not even paying attention, but I'll kind of drive with the steering wheel and just tap with the other hand. And sometimes I'll vary the order. Sometimes I'll just tap in any particular order. So, as one of my clients said, Mark, I had to tap that shit out of it. And sometimes you have to. Sometimes it has to be something that you tap and you tap and you tap, particularly maybe with chronic pain. With chronic pain, you absolutely, you don't want to give up. I mean, people with chronic pain, ultimately, if there's pain that is lasting more than 6 months, it's emotional. That's really the deal. There's something emotional that you're not feeling, you're not expressing. And one technique to deal with that is to really ask yourself, what am I feeling? What emotion am I repressing? What is it? There's usually something that's somebody can't even tell anybody else, can't admit to, something that's so hideous. For a lot of guys, it's, they watch a certain kind of porn and they're ashamed of it, or they secretly go to chat rooms. Or for, some women, they may be in a relationship and secretly fantasizing about having an affair, or whatever secret, little shitty secret we have, is often at the root of chronic pain. Because it's like your body saying, hey, you're not dealing with this and you need to. It's not going to go away unless you actually address the source. And a lot of people with chronic pain, they've gone to all the doctors. There's nothing they can do. Surgery won't help. Drugs won't help. And they're stuck. They're facing just this misery unless they actually do the deep work. And that, to me, I'm a champion of the deep work. It's not always comfortable, people, right? It's not the cure-all. It's not the magic bullet. It's not the magic pill. And there are lots of times when I've attempted to clear things and I thought I had, but something else, some different aspect came back. And that's the beauty of EFT, is you can tap on each separate aspect. So anyway, why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? And I deeply and completely accept myself. So the final thing is, I won't even mention the problem. I'll just go, why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? And why do I deeply and completely accept myself? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? And why do I deeply and completely accept myself? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? And then you kind of tune in after each pass and just take a moment and see how you're feeling. All right, so that's it for today. I'm going to keep tapping. I do feel a little shift, though. I feel a little shift, and I don't know if you can even see it in my energy, but I feel a little shift. And it's really, this is what personal mastery is all about. It's about the willingness to face up to that dark stuff in ourselves. And we all have it, the shadow side. Some people, do a lot of shadow work. And it's all good. And I really recommend that you take some time with yourself today or in the very near future and really sit down and allow yourself to be human. Allow yourself to fail and to learn from your failures. Because there is actually no failure. There's only feedback. But I was watching an interview with Louis C.K. and I was really impressed by, he kept saying over and over again in this hour-long interview, when the guy interviewing him kind of projected his own stuff. And Louis just said, well, you know what? Sometimes you got to risk failure. Sometimes you got to try something you'll never know unless you actually do it. Because he had a number of failed attempts. And the first couple of times he got up in front of an audience, he was absolutely horrible, but he kept going. His first, TV pilot never went anywhere. The second one never went anywhere. The third one, it's just like, and now he has a hit show. and it's only been 25 years. You know, he's an overnight sensation, right? So that's really the takeaway from this today, is to stay with yourself. If you think something's permanent, remind yourself that everything is temporary, and it is such a gift to be here. We are sparks of light in the midst of an endless eternity, you know, and what a gift. Anybody in your life, even the most annoying person, is an amazing teacher, is an amazing being that you've met here in this world to contribute to them, and they're here to contribute to you. So, cowabunga, people. Cowabunga. Have a great day. Thanks.